Being a chaplain to me is something that takes me outside of my calling to be a pastor at a church. And so being a chaplain is focused on God in whatever different interpretations people have in a spirituality where they don't even refer to the name God. But it is such a blessing to me to be a chaplain in addition to being a pastor of a church, because it really helps me meet more people out in the world and to discover what their needs are. I did not discern at first. I had a person who was already a chaplain and a fellow pastor of mine tap me on the shoulder and say, "You're a police department chaplain." And I did not even know that existed. And so I said no, and then a year, I didn't do any discerning, in other words. And then she tapped me on the shoulder again 1 year later and said, "Listen to me. Let me tell you what it's like to be a chaplain, in particular for the police department." And when Sherry Lyon did that, then that's when the discernment process started, and it was almost in a flash. It was like the Holy Spirit just zapped right in and said, "Sherry's right. You are a police chaplain." And I applied the very next day. That's the most surprising thing that I discovered in real life as I went out on chaplain calls, because we're trained and we go out when somebody is experiencing the death of their loved one. And after a time or two, it was so easy in a way. And people think that's just doesn't make sense. Why is it so easy? Because the Holy Spirit is there. It just descends upon the whole group. And so it's not about me at all. So the effect that I have as I learn and I grow with people, and you just depend on God and the Holy Spirit at that moment, that they're in charge and we're here as an instrument. In particular, and people don't exactly like to hear this, but it does happen, is I was a chaplain in the first 3 years. I was the only chaplain to ever receive a call regarding a child, a youth, or a baby death. And I have been on 24 of those myself. And the most challenging part is to be with a family that lost someone who they all think it was way too early. And so the challenge is in keeping that presence myself and for the Holy Spirit, as I said, to be guiding me right in those moments in particular, because that is the moment of the most importance in all of those families' lives. And it's so, so sad when an infant dies and you're holding them in your arms, and yet somebody needs to be there. And that somebody is a child.